Welcome back to another exclusive deep dive on Housewives updates. If you thought the drama in Beverly Hills had peaked, buckle up because the latest developments between Kyle Richards and Dorit Kemsley are shaking the very foundation of the 90210. What was once the most unshakable alliance on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has fractured into a million pieces, and Kyle Richards has finally broken her silence on the grim reality of their relationship. The truth? Their friendship may be over for good. Let's break down every shocking revelation, the timeline of betrayal, the infamous text messages, and what this means for the future of RHOBH. For months, the Bravo universe has been buzzing with rumors about a massive falling out between Kyle and Dorit during the filming of season 15. The whispers suggested a complete breakdown in communication, and now Kyle has confirmed our worst fears, speaking exclusively at the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Roaring 20th launch event in New York City this August, Kyle laid her cards on the table. When asked if she would be open to fixing things, Kyle admitted, "You know that I would repair things with Dorit. I would like to be able to put that behind us and start over and maybe get some things off my mind, some things that people had done and said this last season." However, the reality of the situation is far colder. Kyle revealed that she currently has zero contact with Dorit. The only recent interaction was Kyle reaching out to congratulate Dorit on the release of her new memoir, Unburdened, a gesture that apparently did not lead to a broader reconciliation. "Other than that, no, I haven't heard from her or anything," Kyle confessed. She expressed deep sadness over the estrangement, noting that as both women navigate highly publicized marital separations, Kyle from Mauricio Umansky and Dorit from Paul P.K. Kemsley, they should have been a support system for one another. "I just feel like we're both going through so much and that we would have been much better off leaning on each other," she said. But leaning on each other is impossible when the trust is entirely gone. To understand how we got to this point of no return, we have to look back at the cracks that shattered the foundation. The unraveling of Kyle and Dorit didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, agonizing burn that began to surface in season 13. Fans watched as Dorit repeatedly voiced feelings of abandonment, claiming Kyle was prioritizing her newfound ultra-close friendship with country singer Morgan Wade over her long-term Beverly Hills bestie. Dorit felt sidelined, and in the world of reality television, hurt feelings quickly turn into weaponized actions. The ultimate betrayal, at least in Kyle's eyes, occurred at the season 13 reunion. In a move that shocked the cast, Dorit pulled out her phone and read a private text message from Kyle out loud to Andy Cohen and the cameras. In the text, Kyle admitted it bothers her to be in a weird place with Dorit, but confessed she wanted to keep their tension hidden from the group. For Kyle, who values loyalty above almost anything else, this was the ultimate cardinal sin. "She tried to publicly embarrass me," Kyle later said of the reunion stunt. Dorit breaking the vault of their private communications fundamentally altered how Kyle viewed her friend. The fracturing friendship, Kyle's perspective, Dorit's perspective, the Morgan Wade era, just exploring a new, supportive friendship while dealing with marital strife, felt cast aside, replaced, and ignored by her supposed best friend. The reunion text, a massive betrayal of trust designed to embarrass her on national television. A necessary reveal to prove she wasn't crazy and that Kyle was actively hiding their issues. Communication style finds Dorit frustrating and not open-minded to listening, feels Kyle shuts down and doesn't offer the emotional depth expected of a best friend. The season 13 reunion lit the match, season 14 poured gasoline on the fire. Just as Dorit was grappling with her devastating separation from PK, another texting scandal erupted, this time involving Kyle and PK. Dorit was left fuming when she discovered that Kyle was still in communication with PK amid their split. To Dorit, a best friend's loyalty dictates that you cut ties, or at least strictly limit contact, with the ex-husband. Kyle vehemently defended herself, insisting that the narrative was being manipulated. During an emotional confrontation that brought Kyle to tears, she finally snapped. "I love you and PK and your kids, and you know that," an exasperated Kyle told Dorit. "I've been made to feel like I did something wrong, sending a text to PK." Kyle clarified that her relationship with PK had always consisted of harmless banter and sharing memes, but the specific text in question was simply her reaching out when the news of their separation broke. Kyle read the text aloud to prove her innocence. "I know you have a lot of friends, but I'm also one. If you need me, I've never repeated anything you've shared with me and wouldn't. For Kyle, it was a gesture of sympathy. For Dorit, it was a betrayal of the sisterhood. Dorit later criticized Kyle on the RHOBH after show, arguing that if Kyle were truly a best friend, she would have picked up the phone and called her directly when the separation was announced, rather than just sending a text. All of this simmering resentment finally exploded during the filming of season 15. Sources confirm that the cast trip to Italy served as the battleground for the ultimate Kyle versus Dorit showdown. While the exact details of the European blowout are being kept tightly under wraps until the season airs, the aftermath is undeniable. They left Italy completely estranged. The 2 steps forward, 3 steps back dynamic that Kyle previously complained about had seemingly hit a brick wall. Dorit recently confessed to feeling very abandoned by Kyle, stating that there were far too many things left unsaid from previous reunions. Kyle, on the other hand, seems exhausted by the effort required to maintain the friendship. She noted in late 2025 that Dorit is not open-minded to listening to you, and when she has something in her head, that's it. While Dorit has been feeling profoundly abandoned by Kyle while trying to pick up the pieces of her life, her home life has been unraveling in spectacular fashion. Tension reached a boiling point when Kemsley, Dorit's estranged husband, reportedly moved on very quickly. According to reports from early 2026, PK jumped into a new relationship with a woman named Tatiana Karkilova roughly a year after Dorit filed for divorce. This revelation caused a massive shockwave. Court documents obtained from their messy divorce proceedings revealed explosive text messages from Dorit to PK. When PK allegedly proposed moving back into their current Los Angeles home amidst the divorce, Dorit's response was a blistering, "Over my any dead body." To make matters worse, the immense wealth the Kemsleys constantly projected is under serious scrutiny. PK has claimed in court that Dorit blew a staggering $1 million on luxury items while their home was edging toward financial collapse. He is reportedly asking a judge to force the sale of the house before it's too late. With Dorit fighting for her financial life and dealing with her husband's highly public new romance, her need for her best friend was at an all-time high. The contrasting nature of their respective separations seems to have driven a deeper wedge between the former besties. While both are navigating the end of long-term marriages, the realities of their situations are entirely different. The Beverly Hills splits Kyle Richards and Mauricio Uminski. Dorit and PK Kemsley current status separated, moving forward independently messy, highly publicized divorce proceedings. The ex-husband Mauricio continues running the agency. PK is dating Tatiana Karkilova. Financial stakes, high net worth, business assets intact. PK claims Dorit blew $1 million, facing foreclosure risk. Friendship impact, Kyle seeks peace and wants to avoid the drama. Dorit feels abandoned and expects unwavering loyalty. As the cameras rolled for season 15, the dynamic of the entire group shifted to accommodate the fallout. In the picturesque 90210, loyalty is never guaranteed and nature abhors a vacuum. With Kyle and Dorit completely estranged, new alliances were forged. Dorit found a fresh support system in new housewife and fashion icon Rachel Zoe, who aimed to help Dorit rebuild as she regained control of her finances. Meanwhile, Kyle found herself distancing from the intense anger Dorit was harboring. In a sneak peek for season 15, episode 8, Kyle bluntly stated her perspective on her former friend. "She's too angry right now." The rest of the cast hasn't been immune to the drama either. Erica Jane has made it clear that she has limits when it comes to being left behind by Dorit, and Sutton Strake has taken the opportunity to reinvent herself with a bold new start after her own fallouts. The addition of self-professed money queen Amanda Francis and luxury brand consultant Natalie Swanston Fuller has only added more fuel to a highly combustible season. Cast trips are notorious for breaking friendships, but the season 15 getaway to Italy will go down in Real Housewives history as a bloodbath. What started as a grievance over Dorit's chronic tardiness quickly mutated into a deeply personal, vicious screaming match that left the cast in shock. Tension had been building for weeks. Earlier in the season, during a Hamptons trip, Kyle was already vocal about how Dorit's lack of preparation and lateness jeopardized the group's plans. Newcomer Bazoma St. John didn't hesitate to stir the pot, relaying Kyle's behind-the-back comments straight to Dorit. By the time the women sat down for dinner in Italy, the environment was highly toxic. Erika Jayne, who was already running out of patience with Dorit, finally snapped. Erika confronted Dorit directly at the table, aggressively questioning why Dorit felt her time and her children were more important than anyone else's. Send us a text and say, "Hey, I'm checking on my kids, I'll be down in 5. You don't think you need to do that?" Erika demanded. Instead of apologizing, Dorit went on the defensive, pushing back and questioning whether Erika was projecting her own massive legal and personal problems onto her. When Dorit dared to bring up Erika's personal issues, the argument went nuclear. Erika, whose estranged husband Tom Girardi was convicted of wire fraud in 2024 and sentenced to 7 years in prison, unleashed her fury. "Are you kidding? What the F*** do you think it is? My husband went to prison. The F*** are you talking about? I'm going to trial," Erika fired back. Erika completely shut down Dorit's attempts to compare their ongoing divorces and hardships, famously declaring, "Your kids and your divorce are like, let's not do the pain thing. Like where we do the pain Olympics." The exchange devolved rapidly from there. In a moment that left the table gasping, Dorit lashed out at Erika, telling her, "When I said you need to work and you need to contribute, I didn't mean you need to be a C***. When Dorit dramatically walked away from the table, the emotional toll of the evening crashed down on the remaining women. Both Erika and Kyle broke down in tears, consoling each other as they realized the gravity of what had just occurred. This blowout fundamentally reshaped the cast dynamics. Rachel Zoe, the fashion icon and new housewife, attempted to step in and defend Dorit during the screaming match, solidifying their new alliance. Kyle Richards and Erika Jayne, the two women, bonded over their mutual frustration with Dorit. Kyle later admitted at BravoCon that neither she nor Erika were speaking to Dorit following the cast trip. Kyle expressed sheer exhaustion with the situation, explaining that trying to resolve issues with Dorit is impossible. "She's not open-minded to listening to you, and when she has something in her head, that's it," Kyle confessed, adding that their attempts to fix things resulted in 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. When the cast gathered in March 2026 to film the highly anticipated reunion, fans were bracing for impact, and they got a full-blown inferno. According to sources and paparazzi catch-ups, the reunion stage was the site of a massive dust-up between Kyle and Dorit. After months of giving each other the cold shoulder, being forced onto the reunion couches brought every unresolved issue to the forefront. The deep-seated trust issues, largely stemming from Kyle's alleged text messages with Dorit's estranged husband, Dorit Kemsley, took center stage once again. It became glaringly obvious that the time apart hadn't healed any wounds, and the confrontation reportedly did not go well. Shortly after the grueling reunion taping, Kyle was spotted in Beverly Hills by TMZ on March 31, 2026. When asked about the fractured state of their relationship, Kyle looked drained but maintained a diplomatic, albeit realistic, stance. She admitted to the paparazzi that sparks were apparently flying everywhere during the reunion shoot and confessed that it is going to take a while to patch things up between them. However, Kyle didn't entirely slam the door shut. In a moment of quiet reflection away from the screaming and the cameras, she told TMZ, "I care about her a lot. I want the best for her." It was a far cry from the vicious arguments in Italy, suggesting that beneath the thick layers of anger and exhaustion, there is still a foundation of love. Fast forward to June 2026, and the narrative took another unexpected turn. Dorit made an appearance on Kelly Ripa's podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera, and opened up about the lingering heartbreak of the feud. Despite the brutal season they had just survived, Dorit revealed a surprising level of optimism regarding a potential reconciliation. "I'm very hopeful," Dorit confessed to Kelly Ripa, adding that she would love for her and Kyle to get to a place where they can really put our differences aside or hash it out, whichever. The most revealing part of the interview was Dorit's admission about her mindset going into season 15. She told Ripa that she genuinely thought they were entering the season in a better place, only to have old misunderstandings, shady confessionals, and group gossip rip the band-aid right off once filming commenced. She highlighted the unique toxicity of reality television. True healing is nearly impossible when castmates are constantly stirring the pot and producers are mining your pain for entertainment. Just when fans thought the icy stalemate might thaw over the summer, Kyle Richards provided a candid and rather bleak update on the state of their relationship. In mid-August 2026, Kyle addressed the ongoing estrangement, revealing a much more vulnerable side to the feud. Shedding the defensive armor she wore during the reunion, Kyle admitted, "I'm so sad about the current state of affairs with Dorit." While she reiterated her previous sentiments about wanting to repair the friendship, the overwhelming emotion seems to be a sense of mourning for a bond that is completely broken. However, in true Beverly Hills fashion, Kyle's vulnerability wasn't met with universal sympathy. The Bravo fandom quickly mobilized, with many vocal viewers accusing Kyle of playing the victim. Across social media and Reddit threads, critics labeled Kyle a cry-bully, arguing that she weaponizes her tears to shut down conflict while simultaneously throwing dirt at her former bestie. While Kyle is publicly expressing sadness, Dorit's take on the estrangement is entirely different. For Dorit, Kyle's actions don't read as sadness. They read as retaliation. During the tense RHOBH Season 15 after show, Dorit dropped a massive bombshell about how she interprets Kyle's cold shoulder. She confessed that she genuinely feels Kyle is actively trying to punish her for the grievances of the past. This fundamental disconnect highlights exactly why they can't seem to move forward. Kyle feels hurt and betrayed by Dorit's on-camera antics, like reading private texts, while Dorit feels abandoned during her messy divorce from PK and believes Kyle is enacting a calculated freeze-out. When one person is waiting for an apology and the other feels they are being punished, the road to reconciliation hits a dead end. With Season 15 in the rearview mirror and casting decisions for Season 16 looming, a massive question mark hangs over the franchise. Can the show survive with two central cast members who completely refuse to engage with one another? Historically, when two Beverly Hills titans reach this level of toxicity, the network is forced to make a choice. Fans are already drawing comparisons to the infamous Kyle versus Lisa Vanderpump fallout, which ultimately ended with LVP leaving the show. Currently, the fandom is viciously divided. Team Dorit supporters are loudly calling for Kyle to be humbled, claiming she has a long history of turning against women for a storyline. Meanwhile, Team Kyle supporters argue that Dorit brings nothing to the franchise without Kyle, with some even echoing Ken Todd's infamous sign-off, "Goodbye, Kyle." Or in this case, "Goodbye, Dorit." Some viewers are exhausted by the dynamic entirely, calling the manufactured fighting stupid and boring and demanding a complete cast shakeup. While Dorit has spent the last year navigating her feud with Kyle, her estranged husband Paul "PK" Kemsley has been quietly building a legal war chest. After Dorit filed for divorce, PK wasted no time moving on, publicly dating a new woman named Tatiana Karkilova by April 2026. But the real betrayal is happening in their financial disclosures. According to explosive court documents obtained this week, PK is actively trying to force the sale of their Los Angeles mansion before it hits foreclosure. He alleges that their home is edging toward financial collapse because Dorit has been bleeding their accounts dry. In a brutal legal filing, PK claims Dorit blew a staggering $1 million on luxury items and designer clothes. Dorit's defense? She argued that she needed a $700,000 wardrobe budget just to keep up with the expectations of filming The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. PK fired back immediately, stating that Bravo never required her to live in designer labels. To make matters worse, leaked emails reveal PK begging Dorit to work with him to cut down their exorbitant expenses, while separate filings accuse her of failing to renew their children's passports, ruining his summer European vacation plans. It is a calculated, devastating exposure of the Kemsley finances, designed to paint Dorit as reckless. If a bitter divorce wasn't enough, Dorit is now facing backlash from PK's most famous best friend. In her brand new memoir, Unburdened, Dorit lifted the lid on her marriage, specifically calling out PK's drinking habits. She claimed that alcohol stopped making him charming and instead dulled his warmth. Dorit carried this energy onto social media, posting a highly critical Father's Day message aimed at fathers who fail to support their families. Pop icon Boy George, who famously lived with the Kemsleys, was not having it. He publicly ripped into Dorit's post, calling her thinly veiled shot at PK absolutely disgusting. Dorit's support system is shrinking by the minute, leaving her incredibly isolated as cameras prepare to roll again. With the group dynamics in absolute shambles, producers are already cleaning house for season 16. We can officially confirm that self-proclaimed money queen Amanda Francis will not be returning. Amanda's rookie season was a rocky one, heavily defined by her inability to mesh with the veteran cast. Earlier this year, Amanda publicly stated she had lost hope for any reconciliation with Dorit, laying the blame for their fractured dynamic entirely at Dorit's feet. Clearly, producers felt Amanda wasn't the right fit to navigate the incoming chaos, meaning Dorit has one less enemy, but also one less storyline, going into the new season. For months, Kyle has been driving the narrative that she is furious with Dorit because of a specific, deeply insulting moment during the season where Dorit ranked her last among the three Richards sisters, Kyle, Kim, and Kathy. Kyle used this as her ultimate proof that Dorit is unsupportive and mean-spirited. But fans on Reddit have just blown a massive hole in Kyle's story by pointing out the actual unedited context of that scene. During the season 15 reunion breakdowns, eagle-eyed viewers pointed out exactly what happened seconds before Dorit made that joke. Dorit was holding a shot of vodka, and Kyle, in a moment of anger, literally slapped the shot glass out of Dorit's hand, spilling liquor all over her. Everyone nervously laughed, and that is when Dorit made the joke about Kyle being the last-ranked sister. The fandom is absolutely dragging Kyle for this. How can she sit on the reunion couches and play the victim of a mean joke, completely ignoring the fact that she initiated it by getting physical and spilling a drink on her best friend? This brings us to the most explosive theory currently taking over the RHOBH fandom. As viewers watch the absolute lack of grace these two women are showing each other during their respective divorces, a glaring realization has hit the audience. They were never actually best friends. The theory, which is gaining massive traction online, argues that Mauricio Umansky and PK Kemsley were the actual besties. Two men were incredibly close, doing business together and vacationing together. Kyle and Dorit simply tagged along as the wives and manufactured a best friend dynamic for the Bravo cameras to secure their spots on the show. The friendship timeline, the reality of the situation. The golden years Mauricio and PK are inseparable. Kyle and Dorit play the roles of besties, leveraging the alliance to push Lisa Vanderpump off the show. The cracks show Mauricio and PK's bond strains amid legal and financial rumors. Kyle and Dorit immediately start bickering over trivial things, the clothing line being late. The collapse, Kyle and Mo separate. Dorit and PK divorce. Without the husbands forcing them together, the Kyle/Dorit friendship instantly, violently implodes. One fan perfectly summarized. I think their husbands were friends and the women just tagged along and pretended to be friends on RHOBH. If they split, I would stay friends with the man. You aren't obligated to choose people just because of their genitalia. First things first, we have official confirmation on one major cast exit. After a single, highly turbulent run, Amanda Francis announced her departure from the series in August 2026. Amanda's exit isn't exactly a shock to those paying attention. Her rookie season was defined by a total failure to connect with the veteran cast, particularly Dorit. Earlier this year, Amanda made it clear she had lost hope for any sort of reconciliation with Dorit. Ultimately, producers clearly felt she didn't possess the staying power to anchor the shifting dynamics of the group, but Amanda's exit is just the appetizer. The real panic is setting in over what Bravo plans to do with the main cast. With season 15 widely considered by the fandom to be dragging on without resolution, major leaks have begun spilling out of production regarding a highly necessary cast shakeup. And according to the very first leaked casting rumors on Reddit, Dorit Kemsley's diamond is in serious jeopardy. The leak claims that Dorit is out for season 16 alongside Amanda. The Bravo fandom is entirely fractured over this rumor. One side of the audience is completely baffled by the idea of firing Dorit right now. As one fan pointed out, Dorit is the only one creating conflict, plus she's airing out her personal drama on the show. I don't see them dropping her. Between the $1 million wardrobe allegations from PK, the potential foreclosure of her home, and the absolute destruction of her friendship with Kyle, Dorit is undeniably delivering the reality TV gold that producers usually beg for. However, the other side of the fandom argues that the Kyle versus Dorit feud has grown incredibly stale. It's been dragging for 2 to 3 seasons now with no resolution, one viewer complained. The two women outright refuse to film together or engage in any meaningful way. Producers are left with a broken show. The situation behind the scenes is so tense that industry insiders are whispering about a potential franchise pause. Much like we saw with the Real Housewives of New York City, when a cast becomes too toxic and the storylines hit a dead end, Bravo is not afraid to halt production, enforce a cooling-off period, and completely reshuffle the deck. If RHOBH is headed for a pause, it means no one's job is safe, not even Kyle Richards. Fans have expressed deep exhaustion with Kyle's dominance over the narrative. Some viewers claim that Kyle's primary role on the show has become actively keeping her own real-life drama off the cameras while stirring the pot for others. Could a reshuffle see a massive return of old faces? Rumors are swirling that Crystal Kung Minkoff could be tapped for a return, and fans are already putting together their dream cast lists to save the franchise from its current state of limbo. In the world of the Real Housewives, when the wives go to war, the husbands are expected to fall in line. We've seen it a million times. The women stop speaking and the husbands awkwardly avoid each other at charity galas. But not Mauricio and PK. Despite their wives being locked in one of the most toxic feuds in recent RHOBH history, Mauricio Umansky and PK Kemsley have actively maintained their incredibly close bond. While Dorit was sitting on the season 15 reunion couches accusing Kyle of abandoning her, PK and Mauricio were reportedly still texting, catching up, and operating as though nothing had changed. This refusal to pick sides, or rather their decision to pick each other, has completely validated the husband proxy theory. Proves that the foundation of the Kyle/Dorit alliance was always built on the men's genuine friendship. The moment the marriages crumbled, the women had zero reason to pretend they actually liked each other. If PK and Mauricio's ongoing bromance wasn't enough to make Dorit's blood boil, the fans recently dug up a massive bombshell from BravoCon that puts Kyle's loyalty into serious question. During an interview with ET in late 2025, Dorit let slip a piece of information that went largely unnoticed at the time but is now going viral on Reddit. Dorit revealed that when she needed to meet with Mauricio Umansky to discuss business and real estate regarding her messy divorce, it was actually Kyle who arranged the meeting. Think about the timeline. Kyle and Dorit's friendship is actively falling apart because Dorit feels Kyle isn't supporting her during the PK split. Yet, Kyle is actively coordinating sit-downs between Dorit and Mauricio, the very man Kyle herself is separated from. To Dorit's defenders, this is proof that Kyle treats Dorit like a business asset rather than a friend. Instead of offering emotional support, Kyle was playing the role of a Hollywood agent, managing Dorit's real estate crisis through Mauricio while keeping her own hands clean. When you zoom out and look at the chessboard of Beverly Hills, the reality of Dorit's situation is incredibly grim. Her husband, PK, is publicly humiliating her in court, claiming she blew $1 million on clothes, and is actively trying to force the sale of their home. He has completely moved on with a new girlfriend. Her best friend, Kyle Richards, has cut her off, choosing to align with Erica Jane and Sutton Strake. The Husbands Club, PK and Mauricio, remain tight, entirely unaffected by the women's trauma. Dorit is currently fighting a multi-front war with absolutely no cover. The men have protected their own peace and their own friendships, leaving the women to rip each other apart for Bravo's cameras. There is also a massive financial undercurrent to this entire saga. Mauricio's real estate brokerage, The Agency, has handled massive listings for the Beverly Hills cast for years. With PK attempting to force the sale of the Kemsley mansion, fans are watching closely to see who gets the listing. If Mauricio or his daughters step in to handle the sale of the home that Dorit is desperately trying to save, it will be the final unforgivable nail in the coffin of this entire friend group. As we wait for the official season 16 cast announcements, one thing is clear: the era of the house husbands playing happy families in the background is over. The men have chosen their sides, and unfortunately for Dorit Kemsley, she is standing completely alone. Thank you for watching this Housewives Updates bonus chapter. Hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments if you think Mauricio should cut ties with PK out of loyalty to Kyle, or if the men are right to stay out of the wives' drama.